I had a reason for this video. I was going to go over just. Well, I already did a video on turbulence, right? But I thought, like, given the scenario, it's important to look at ideas of trust and concepts that I was going to go over in my in my discussion video when I was getting a trim. But then I thought, you know what, this is a good time to do some retrospectiveness, because what we have now, given that we've lost a bit of time and whatnot, well, in terms of time this year, given that we've lost quite a bit of this year, I believe there's still a space in which we can explore the past. And it's kind of the mourning we're having now for the moments we had in the past that we took for granted, completely different system, completely different set of rules to existing in this world that we have right now. Obviously, there's a lot of socio-political commentaries we can make about that, especially when you live in the Western world, where there's this consistent buzz of consistency and stability, even despite numerous issues and people falling through the cracks. But I thought I'd look back at a talk I might have done years ago, just to give you an idea. So this is my old, my dormant YouTube channel where I did mostly music stuff. There's a little review of A Flash Flood of Color by Enter Shikari, which is pretty hype, and me playing at 2 a.m. This is a fun video, but I came here because I wanted to go for this video here. It's not really 32 minutes, is it? Fuck off, no it isn't. It is. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I thought this is what I started to get into. This is effectively the proto-IVI, and thus I believe this would be the best place to start with this series of, IVI or IVI. I'm not sure which one it will go. I think I'm going for What You See versus Who I Am. But anyway, let's get started. So this is Time to Talk, thoughts on American politics, religion, and whatnot. 29th of March 2012, just to date it. I am not even 17 years old at this point. I thought obviously that series like this, I'm going to have to go over who I was, who I am, the links between that, the concept, you got to look at, like my English teacher would say, the context of production and context of reception. Like, who was I making this video for, other than myself, of course? Was it just putting out into ether? Was I trying to connect with certain inside jokes? I barely watched it since then, so it'd be a bit of a journey for both of us. But yeah, let's get in it. I remember the intro, it's a bit crude, but I was always crude back then. I had a better hairline though. Oh. Conservative Christian cocksucker. Okay, so we got to start in 30 seconds in, and I've really got a bit crude and made a commentary about conservative Christian cocksucker. This is the type of thing you find in the forums. When you're 17 and you're a bit vulnerable or liable to be influenced by people's stronger opinions, because you idolize them or micro-idolize them, in the sense that you want to have your own strong opinions, and you may actually agree with them, but maybe you don't agree with them that much. It's the kind of steps towards radicalization in one ways, but also just the steps towards trying to be someone who's outlined and has an outline belief system. It's like going back to when you were like 4 years old and you're like trying to work out your favorite colors and your favorite things. And I think that was an extension of that. But anyway, conservative Christian cocksucker, we wanna fuck her. And of course, me being more misogynistic than I am now, there's this joke about people who are high level conservative Christians. I think the concept was that like these aren't people that are concerned with sexuality because they're supposedly unfuckable. Of course, excuse me for my language relating to the past and the present, but we have to keep it real here.
Talks about abortion, talks about stopping everyone from having fun. How can you be so dumb? All this contrast for a country that won't last. Living in the past.
I mean, off pure improv, that I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad improv. But it shows a side of nowadays my videos, they're a bit planned, so I write bullet points and ideas. There's a better flow if you compare like the earliest videos on this channel to now, for example. Of course, this video is very planned, and not just out of pure joy of not having to do my essay. But we continue.
Yeah. Morning. No video bring to you. Hi. Yeah. Sorry. Good morning. Today I'm going to talk about lots of things. I'm going to talk about the issue of religion. Well, not as in religion, as in like I just said in that song, conservative Christian cocksuckers. The issue of religion and politics and those things. I'm going to say it straight in hopefully less than 15 minutes. Probably won't happen.
Less than 15 minutes. I'm a joker, but it's funny because the manner in which I acted then is kind of the setup for what I do now. 15-ish minutes discussing a key topic, maybe a key take on the topic. And yeah, this is very much proto IVI, the blogger, the YouTuber you see today. Yes.
Elections are coming up in 6 months. Don't really give a shit. Actually, no. I live in England. It will have an effect. That's the annoying thing. It will have a slight effect on the world who's elected, but hopefully not a giant effect. But whatever.
I think there's that big thing discourse amongst people of my age group, but also I guess in the media that I want to touch on was the idea of things are happening in the US and they mean something, but it's fine because we have a bubble in England, and thank God we live in England, right? England's fine. It's we have healthcare and we don't have our gun violence is quite minimal, which I guess tends to overshadow the issues we do have that are very prevalent but maybe not talked about enough. That was the thing I picked up on, the discourse there, not just what I'm saying, but the context.
We'll start homosexuality. Obviously the gay marriage thing. Proposition 8 that.
Obviously, a lot of knows, as you would have heard from my early other videos, but this seems oddly structured. But I guess it is natural back then because I spent a lot more time thinking and maybe less time to actually truly get into discussion groups. This is prior to university and whatnot, so it was hard to actually have the space to express myself. So it was very bottled up, and thus I had a lot of time to chew on it before I actually said it out loud, which might have been a good thing. However, it's less succinct because it's 30 minutes instead of my aim of 15-ish. It's a thing to think about. But anyway, let's focus on the ideology. But I was thinking about just the meta.
Didn't work out last time, stuff like that. People complaining proposition about gay marriage. The one, I know, I have a lot of things to talk about, really, I'd say, but the one thing I have to say is, of course, I can use the easy attack here. Look at Kim Kardashian. Look at any random celebrity that isn't worth shit anymore. Now, compare that to, I don't know, legitimate homosexual couple, and think who's running the sanctity of marriage more. I suppose. That's the one thing you have to think about.
Oh, okay. There's an argument here. I came in to analyze the arguments I entertained back in the past and see if I still held them. So sanctity of marriage being a big deal. If marriage is going to be a thing that matters in our society, we should treat it with respect and whatnot. And the idea of, this is around the time Kim Kardashian was doing her hype thing. The whole thing about how she married that guy for like a few months and I think turned a profit technically, given all the wedding gifts she received. So in that context, which is funny now looking back, given that like Kanye, because remember this is 2012, so this is right after like Watch the Throne and all that, right? And now Kanye is married to this woman. It's just funny looking back, isn't it? It's just wild.
But of course, when you're conservative and you're overly forceful people's wills of your will on other people, you forget about this. You forget who's the real danger to the sanctity of marriage. Is it legitimate gay couples, or is it completely fake, like celebrity couples? I mean, Kim Kardashian, she has like, I don't know, her marriage lasted 70 something days. I mean, like, all jokes aside, I've had I've had shits longer than that. I've literally probably had shits longer than her marriage. All jokes aside, I probably have. So
Very crude, very crude. I think I'm less crude now, or my crude comes from a more refined manner. It's refined salt. Um, but yeah, I think there's obviously the discourse of, oh, am I more eager to throw someone else under the bus to make a point, i.e., Kim Kardashian, back there in this situation, rather than just stand on the argument in itself without having to need an example. Example which, I guess, being someone who is quite conservative Christian, would also support as ruining the sanctity of marriage as well. Anyway, in that case, maybe if you were that type of conservative, you'd also say, oh, if you get married, you should marry with the intent to be together. And thus, perhaps Kim Kardashian's 70-day marriage and any gay marriage, if I'm to believe that that is a problematic thing in my faith, are equally illegitimate. Or at least neither of them get above the threshold of being legitimate. It's like, oh, gay marriage, and then like Kim Kardashian's heterosexual marriage, but you have to be this level of legitimate. Anyway, love me a threshold. But I should really get into that video and discuss that. But
I don't know. The issue here is that with homosexual marriages, I don't think it would harm anyone. As a matter of fact, it might help the economy. All that money that goes into the wedding industry from homosexual marriages will be perfectly fine.
oh, okay, big one. Argument ad economics. Uh, the idea of things can be good if they don't cause any harm and make money, and by definition, they can be good, especially in our free market capitalist society. It's also the argument now looking back as an older person. It's the argument that was helped support the funding, or at least the promotion of arts and cultural industries in the UK and the US and other countries that run a similar economic system. It made me think about that, and obviously problems that can arise from that, as in seeing art as only valuable if it can be economically sustainable by itself, and some things perhaps should be exempt from this degree of scrutiny, or this type of scrutiny, as being profit making. For example, healthcare in most developed countries, or roads. Roads should just be a thing, but also roads have the clear economic value, right?
I mean, I don't think there'll be any detriment really, apart from the idea that we're allowing gay marriages. But I don't know. Some people are just against gay marriages because they don't feel it's appropriate. But I don't know. I don't think it's one of those things. If it doesn't really affect me, so it can't really be detrimental to me. So I don't mind. And then secondly would be,
Obviously, key thing is, this is the argument of it doesn't affect me, therefore I don't care. Kind of generally, is done in a positive light here. Regarding homosexual marriage. However, it's very important not to also have it manifest in the negative light of it doesn't affect me, therefore I shouldn't care about other people who are marginalized, like homosexual people. It's very important. Allyship is a big thing that one has to think about, especially as I went to university and whatnot. But yeah.
was it abortion I was talking about first? Yeah, abortion. abortion, issues of abortion. The whole big debate over, is it murder? Is it I don't know, whatever you want to call it? Is it taking care of mistakes that you had one night? I mean, the issue is, like, if you ever find yourself in a position where you have to have an abortion, like illegitimate. It's funny I say illegitimate position. Like, illegitimate position, I believe, for like having abortion is like, say you just had a silly one night stand or something like that. Like, I'd call legitimate argument for abortion is like, I don't know, like, I don't know, maybe, I think the only one really I'd say is probably rape. I think in that case, then there's maybe an argument for abortion. There's an argument there. But, I believe even with that, you could still say, have the child and give up for adoption, which is...
Oh, I knew it. I knew I'd get to this because I remember I had this kind of thought process back in the day of I was pro-birth but also pro-life. I think it's very important. People now in the discourse has evolved to mark people as, you're not necessarily pro-life because you're the type of person who says, stop mooching off the government the second the child might need some assistance or the parent might need some assistance, but you are pro-birth. And I was pro-birth, and maybe I still have that pro-birth tendency within me. But I also had to make it clear that if you're going to be pro-birth, you must be pro-life. I support the social, economic, physical well-being of the child. If you're going to be this hard on, birth, and now it's like someone doesn't have to go through sexual assault in order to say, can I get an abortion, please? I think there should be a choice, openly. As I think more and more I discovered my ideology changing towards these are the conditions to, we must campaign for choice, full stop. And free choice and open choices to do things and have the range of options available. But yeah, this is a key thing. But this is why we do this series. We look at ideologies we entertained in the past and how they've changed. But yeah.
Like teen children, which shouldn't happen anyway. Teen mothers shouldn't really happen because most people's bodies haven't even matured and that stuff, and it's dumb. It's
like I'm always going Hotep here because obviously a mark of a Hotep is often a man who talks about the female reproductive system or has a take on it. But yeah, there's it's important to, like I said, choice, having open choice of saying, is this person equipped with the ability to actually have a freedom of different avenues, with a support network and all these things. Yeah.
Like a lot of time, like I've watched actually Archfiend and Undertaker Freaks video recently about that, and it's true, like your body hasn't matured properly. But I'm not saying get an abortion. I'm saying give up for adoption to people who are more fit to take care of a child.
More fit, all that. I think this is peak. Oh, people were adopted and he turned out well. Richard Morgan Flyer, otherwise known as Ric Flair. One of the most notable names in TV entertainment, not even past wrestling entertainment, right? Back in the 80s, and obviously Steve Jobs was an adoptee as well. So I think I was at that peak of like buying into that ideology of adoption is cool, yeah, why not? But yeah, where now it's like I'll say that as a joke at a party, but I wouldn't like be like, just give it for adoption. Like, no, have a choice. This is one of your choices. Hard utilitarianism, of course, much easier when you're 17 and the nuance is lost a bit, and also just general remembering that there are humans at play, three-dimensional people with hopes and dreams, and yeah.
Stuff like that could happen. One man's trash is another man's treasure, if you could say that.
Jesus Christ. This is why we're doing this video, because we have to go into the past to inform our future and face up to the fact that this was you, and part of this still is you. And by you, I'm looking at myself through the camera lens, but also, I think times like this, and I want to look back. This is why I do this. I want to push people to engage with their past selves and explore their progress.
I understand, like, especially in America. It seems like in America there seems to be a lot more, like, angry Christians rather than what I call proper Christians. So
Or true Scotsman fantasy. Well, potentially. Yeah. There's no true Christian, or there's no yeah. This is fun. This is fun.
I
This is
think
fun.
what I see from atheists in America, say the Amazing Atheist and Undertaker 3, they seem to be angry at the system of people just being naive and not open. Not like I'm not saying you must change to atheism, but I'm saying be accepting of other people's, ideas at least. Whereas apparently the way they talk about it, it seems that the people that I don't know, the Christians that they've seen in their lifetime seem more close-minded and offensive. Like overly stressing on the point that you must be a Christian, you know, and things. Yeah, like there's little jokes like God prefers atheists because atheists do stuff themselves, and they're good because they're good, not because they're told that about heaven. I mean, I I don't know. I don't. I wouldn't do things because it gives me a reward. That's dumb. If you do things for a reward and only the reward, say the concept of heaven, then what's the point doing them, really?
Well, there's definitely a point. Rewards are nice, but I think it's the dwindling returns on rewards that's important to look at. Especially, there's lots to unpack there. This is a weird phase of me intertwining with discourse around religion and concepts of belief, especially looking at mainstream ideologies such as Christianity, such as, if someone has an abortion, why not put for adoption, yeah.
I mean,
I'm
do
17,
things
okay?
because it's the right thing to do, which is what seems to annoy a lot of atheists, the concept of heaven and how, why should there be a deterrent? Why can't I just be myself and not be a douchebag? Which is what I believe in as well. Don't be a douchebag. Just don't be a douchebag and you'll get into heaven. You don't.
Wait, douchebag? Who said douchebag in the past 5 years on the internet? Have you seen the word douchebag on the internet? I haven't. I haven't seen it in a while. I think that word's kind of died off a bit. I don't know. Yeah. Interesting, isn't it?
I don't believe in doing things just because there's a God there. I believe in doing things just because, do them just because. Just because, that's it. Nothing else. Do them because it's the right thing to do.
Oh, intrinsic values. Very, very big thing in ethics. Yes, 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 yes.
I just said, you know? And of course, another problem with the conservative Christian cocksuckers, like I've always said, things like, trying to join the church together and stuff like that. Like I remember seeing this thing about a certain candidate. He wants to stop the Iranians, for example, those like Islamic countries from being, run by religious zealots. But then he wants to impose like Christian values in everything, And I suppose I hope he's imposing the good Christian values, not the crazy OTT, like the Christian values such as
Obviously problematic juggling here of my own ideology and my own jihad with good Christian values versus bad Christian values. And obviously this concept, some people say, if they come from a source that is dubious, they're all going to be dubious. They're not good Christian values, they're good values that also show up in Christianity. Is the other take, of course. A lot of stuff here. This is fun.
killing and the classic things, like if we just focus on the fundamentals. It's funny, like the idea of like fundamentalism is like I always thought of it when I was younger as fundamentalism was like just agreeing with the fundamentals of a concept. Like I don't know, I used to like say I'm
Ooh.
like a fundamental Christian because in being a fundamental Christian I believed it meant to follow the fundamentals of Christianity, like the ideals and morals of Christ, for example.
I still like this concept. We attach a lot to certain words and ideologies. Gamer, feminist, Christian, intellectual. What are the fundamental properties? Obviously going into the slight dogmatic thought process of necessary and sufficient conditions. But in terms of necessary conditions and all that, the idea of what are the fundamental parts that are, I guess, inalienable from the things we subscribe to. I think that's quite a big thing here.
Weapons to a country like Israel so that they can defend themselves.
Yeah, which is a key thing here. Obviously, the connection between American Christians and Israel obviously has that holy place that we must protect at all costs, and a natural bias leaning towards it, and the ignorance of the issues that Israel the state has, not Israel the religious, not Israel as a religious homeland, but as an Israel the state clearly has. Yeah.
I mean, what's Palestine got compared to Israel? Israel's probably got one of the most sophisticated army forces in the world. Palestine, they probably have some army force, but I'm not assuming. I'm assuming that but that's another argument. But it's the whole problem with religion and arguments over religion that don't really matter. I mean, this is why I don't know. I don't like saying this because it makes me sound like for example, like when. Okay, let's make it a really simple analogy. Like, say, for example, people complain about PS3 versus
It's not going to be a simple analogy. I can feel it.
Xbox, and then you have the PC super race, so to say, because they have everything on PC. It's like that where you have.
Actually, that was quite simple. Actually, saying this now for my PC, that is quite a simple analogy of above all else, there's you're in this world, console wars, PS3 versus Xbox 360, Nintendo Switch versus mobile games, whatever. In this world where, like, regardless, you're stuck in this inferiority complex and all these other things, and you have to constantly defend yourself because you've seen your own weakness. Where PC, there's a route towards self-actualization for all of us. This advert was paid for by the DIY PC police.
I know I don't like saying this, but in England you don't have that crap.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Maybe not to the extent. Maybe not said as openly, but there's definitely that crap. Is what I came to learn more and more the older I got.
You don't have, well, not to that degree at least. You have people who are racist. Okay, there's racists everywhere. There's douchebags everywhere, but you don't hear about, like I said, you don't hear about people burning Qurans. You don't hear about people being xenophobic towards Muslims, because quite a lot of Muslims actually are residing in England. Yeah,
I think the key thing was here, it's a reflection. Remember, I live near a mosque. The community in my area represents maybe London or maybe my area, but it's not representative of the entire of the UK. At this point in 2012, I'd only been to Bristol. I think I hadn't even been to Manchester. I live in London my whole life. So obviously multiculturalism is just normal, multi-ethnic. The school I went to, people whose families from Bangladesh, Turkey, Colombia, and everything. So you understand difference is what unites us, right? But I literally only been to like Brighton Beach, right? Bristol for my uncle's wedding. I've barely been anywhere around in the UK, so it shows the clear reflection of when you're 17. Why can't we just get along? And then you go out in the world like, oh, these are some of the reasons why it's hard to get along, because there's so many other issues that pile up, and then, oh wait, also have to deal with the fact that I'm still a bigot. Have I got time for that? Maybe. We have to make time, no matter what, right? But yeah, I think the naivety here is adorable.
a lot of black people. If you go London, there's still a bit of slight segregation, but not like what I hear about. I can't say anything about America because I've never been there, but the things I've seen people talk about on the internet, social issues that still seem to be a bit more prominent than in England.
They are. I've been to New York, been to Boston. They are obviously issues here are very clear. We've seen them right now.
I don't know. It's funny how, the current president of the United States is part Irish, part Kenyan. I don't know, has Muslim backgrounds. Born in Hawaii or somewhere. There's a mix in him. He's probably one of the most multicultural presidents ever. From a single mother as well. It's quite beastly. Like he probably represents quite a few of the demographics in America, but I don't know. I guess the issue is it's more of an inbred thing. You know, you have to understand multiculturalism. I suppose. You know, that's the issue here. You have to understand multiculturalism. You know, and it's like a lot of the time you people. It's a sad that you have to make a point that I'm American and I'm Muslim. You know, it shouldn't have to be a point. You know, you should say I'm American. I'm American. I happen to be Muslim, but I'm American. I like being in America because America's a nice place.
I think happen to be is a very key thing of like to avoid at times. It's like, no, I am this. I am also this. It's not I happen to be this, but I think it's the importance of, in terms of fighting back against like, you know, what's the word? What's the word? Discrimination. Wow. See, I don't even know the word. See, I'm so balanced. I even forget the word discrimination. Anyway, in that case, I guess you happen to be, because it had to point out like this is the only reason you're actually discriminating against them. However, in other times, I am American, I am Muslim, I am this, I am that, I am British, my family are from Sierra Leone. That means I've taken on their culture as part of mine. I connect through them to the country of Sierra Leone or to Russia, because that's where my parents were, for example, right? In the same way, in a manner how my family can connect to me, to China through me, very slightly, right? We are multifarious humans, it turns out.
And people are supportive, and people understand ethnic diversity. You know, but I don't know. It's sad that you have to make a point that you're Muslim and American, or things like that. When same God, like I just logicized before. But I don't know. Anything else I can talk about Christian cocksuckers and religion? Really, I mean, just the issue of forcing your will on people. It's not Christian. It's not Christian. Like, I understand people want people.
It's funny because I loved history. I always loved history, but this is before I really learned about the depths of the Crusades, for example, and that kind of was very Christian indeed, and very very big religion, indeed, and this question of when actors who hold a certain banner perform in a certain manner for a certain amount of time, do they become representative of that movement? Like that, the imagery of easy one is like feminism on the internet. The imagery of supposedly overly angry feminist being the defining factor of what the movement is, even though a lot of people are different movements, right? There's probably some Christians like just hanging out, not doing any crusading. But I mean, I think that's being like big Christianity. There's like Christianity TM or feminism TM. Feminism done by your favorite corporate overlords versus the actual grassroots movements that come into it.
It's that thing like, say, with having a holy day. Well, actually dedicate one holy day to pray and do that stuff. It's like the whole argument saying every day should be Mother's Day, every day should be Father's Day. Maybe every day should be a holy day. Every day should be a Sunday. The way you act on a Sunday should be just the same as you act on a Monday, and vice versa.
That's slut shaming again. Ooh.
Yeah, you come to church, or you pray. You pray at mosque on Fridays, or you come to church on Sundays. But then, like the week after, you're going out doing stuff like, I don't know, not like being too free with men, for example, or being too.
Oh, I knew it was coming. I knew the slut shaming was coming. Anyway. Well, actually, the only problem with being sexually promiscuous is not being safe, in my opinion. That has been my opinion for at least 5 years, which is 3 years after this. If my maths is correct, yes, it is. Communication. Communication.
Free with the opposite sex. I'm not trying to preach here. I'm saying, I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm saying, just be careful. I'm not trying to be a parent. I'm just a 16-year-old YouTuber here.
Exactly. I'm just a 16-year-old YouTuber, and that's the thing. I'm gonna have thoughts that will be problematic.
But I know the issue is like. The issue here is, wait, what am I talking about? Yeah, the issue here is that with like I said, Christian cocksuckers, conservative Christian cocksuckers. We'll focus on that. Is that it's all this force and all this anger. It seems like You know, the warmongering Christian cocksuckers, who complain about everything like abortion that doesn't affect them. It's that funny joke like um, a lot of people that talk about abortion are people that don't want to fuck anyway. You know, so I don't know. It's just annoying seeing people like that, and it brings a bad name to Christianity. You know,
Oh, bad name. See, I was talking about that idea of imagery to outsiders, imagery to insiders, and schisms within it. That you find in any active group that has a certain ideology, ongoing ideology.
and then this is why I can understand the atheist point of view, especially what it seems like in America. What it seems, because I can't say it. It seems like there's quite a high number of people who are just, at least on some way, shape or form, a conservative Christian cocksucker. So hopefully this will change, because there are some really positive people everywhere. There's douchebags everywhere, but there's nice people everywhere. There's geniuses everywhere in America, England, Switzerland, Germany, India, Sierra Leone, Senegal. Everywhere. I mean, but I just wish that people could just be more accepting of other people. It's simple. Be more accepting of other people. Stop being a douchebag. Be a Christian, not a cocksucker. Focus on the Christian part.
I think this is where I really mastered the art of being calm and really crude at the same time. So you have this burst of just like violent speech or quite coarse language, but being very calm with it. In the same sense that language is a tool to employ and use and mold. Anyway,
Conservative liberal, forget about that. I mean, just focus on the Christian part. Like, you're bringing a bad name to regular conservative Christians. People who just happen to be conservative and be Christian, and actually are decent Christians.
I did make a key point here. I do have a blog here. It's talking about the different types of a different type of religious extremist, and that one religious extremist, like the terrorist, the violent, explosive terrorist that you see in the news, is only one example of religious extremism, and the other example is your auntie who goes to church 4 times a week. That's one of my favorite blogs to write, in my opinion. I'll obviously link below.
Like I said, I'm not the most religious guy in the world. I'm not the Pope, but fundamentals, not fundamentalism, fundamentals of Christianity, very important. Especially if you're saying I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian campaigner. Focus on the fundamentals, and you can't really go wrong.
You can still go wrong if the fundamentals are, problematic in themselves or come from problematic sources, or But I had hope back then.
That's the term. That's the idea that I've always had. If you can do that, then there shouldn't be a problem. Really, just stop being a douchebag. Be accepting of people. Not really hard, guys. I mean,
Well, it's hard for a bunch of reasons. Although we should still aim towards this and not say that we give up because of the issues we encounter. They're just stumbling blocks to acknowledge.
sad really, because sometimes when I make these videos, I'm preaching to the converted, but hopefully maybe someone will see this and understand, at least with the logic of, say, it's the same religion, same people. A human is a human. Be it a beggar, a homosexual, a racist bigot. Even a racist bigot is still a human. Might be a bit of a douchebag, but still a human and deserves to be treated as such. Therefore, the whole.
I still hold on to this idea of, yes, don't invite bigots to your party, because why would you do that? But at the end of the day, leave the door slightly open if they do want to come correct. Let them know that if you do come correct and you're willing to improve and change your ways, as your parent would, we will let you exist in our spaces, but only on that condition that you've shown actual conceited effort to improve yourself and not create a hostile environment for others. And always leave that door open for people, even though it's very difficult to do so. But at the same time, you don't have to check up on them hey, are you not a bigot anymore? All right, see you tomorrow. Hey, are you still largely homophobic and a slut shamer? Yeah, okay, we'll check in next week. I think this is importance of give it 5 years. I say the 5-year rule. If they've showed an effort over 5 years to clearly shift away from past thoughts, and then go from there. Yeah.
Joke. Allow homosexuals to be as miserable as everyone else by being married. You know, let people get an abortion if they need to. I believe in pro-choice, but I don't believe in abortions as much. I believe just have the child and give up for a.
So obviously, I am pro-birth at this point. Now I'm actual hard pro-choice, or I have to accept the fact that if I'm going to be as pro-birth or suggestive, implying that it's my body that's pregnant. If I felt pregnant, I'd probably be pro-birth, maybe, but who knows? Things might change, given the circumstances of my pregnancy, right? Because firstly, I can't speak on anyone else's pregnancy other than my own, unless I'm a doctor and it's saying, oh, maybe you should be careful with that, avoid taking steep stairs. I don't know what doctors say to pregnant people. But yeah, I have to also make sure if you're going to be pro-birth, you have to be pro-life. It's very important. But naturally, choice, like I say, choice over everything. True choice. To sum that up again, it's very important. This is why we look back at ourselves.
Because at least this way you have a potential child. Look at all the wonderful adopted people, or people from single parent homes, for example. Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Steve Jobs was adopted. Richard Morgan Flyer, otherwise known as Ric Flair, one of the most influential and one of the most respected wrestlers ever. Guys like him.
Just to show how long ago this was, Ric Flair was retired at this point. He just retired off. It's only not too far from the super kick that ended his career in the WWE. And now Charlotte Flair is, his daughter, a major player in a now very actual serious women's division in the WWE. Just to give you an idea of how much things have changed, just in general. It's pretty cool. Obviously, Steve Jobs has passed away, and his company has too. The spirit of it has, a lot of things. It's quite interesting just looking back in terms of time and whatnot. And headphones.
He was adopted. So imagine the potential of your adopted baby. Like if you just give up for adoption. As a matter of fact, give your child up for adoption. I'll adopt it later, and I'll turn it into he'll be a beast. He's.
Obviously, the very important discourse to address here is, think of the potential of the child, or think of the potential of this thing, rather than thinking of the value intrinsically of, we shouldn't keep the child going because it was the next Freddie Mercury. Well, it depends, you might not like that if you're homophobic or biphobic specifically. Let's make that very clear. Or we should keep it on because it might be the one that helps to discover the cure for cancer. But if we needed a 1 in 10 billion chance of this child being born to cure cancer, then maybe we've got some serious issues with our society that we can't just get someone else to cure cancer. Maybe. I think it's important, intrinsic value of life. Especially if you're going to be pro-birth, you should support the intrinsic value of life and the intrinsic value of give that child a chance to maybe cure cancer, or maybe just live a generally normal life where they contribute a bit and they sing happy songs with their family and they live a calm life. But yeah, porque este vivo ya fue maestrano, to excuse my awkwardly pronounced Brazilian, but to be alive in itself is strange, and we should embrace that.
Be a Christian fundamentalist, as I used to call it, not crazy Christian fundamentalist. I mean, focus on the fundamentals of Christianity. In that sense, So yeah, that's all I have to say for now. So with that, I just like to say thank you for watching this vid. Thank you for listening. 'Cause this was a long video, and good night.
Yeah, it was. Cool. But yeah, I liked the idea there. I actually had structure. Incredible. And look, it's this guy. Just to give you an idea of how much time has passed. This man, obviously, let's talk about Mike Pence real quick. His vice president, being like, kind of a key figure in that, high conservative Christian core of U.S. politics and whatnot. But yeah, it's weird just looking back at these and how much I've aged. For example, I wasn't into PC building and the true Geordie was just some dude on the internet. Uh, and Kanye West interview 2013. You know, I think this is the he ain't Ralph though. All these things that have just changed over time. Star Wars came back. Wow, yeah. But either way, I think this was a very important exploration into myself. I invite other people to do this. I want this to be a challenge to others to like look at their old videos, old pictures, old posts. I saw an old post today actually on Facebook. Me getting Facebook hacked and saying I enjoy penises of a particular hue. Maybe the hue similar to this headphone. Um, but it was much more crude than that. Uh, anyway, and that, for example, being a reflection of the thoughts at the time of latent homophobia and awkwardness and no homo culture. But anyway, I've said enough, or maybe I've not said enough, given the fact that there's so much other things to unpack in ourselves, right? If only I could have an interview with our past selves, and really explore the ideology there. But it might be too much to handle actually if we are able to do that. So thus we will continue to do this. Either way, thank you for going on this journey with me. I invite you to do the same, as I just said. And stay safe, stay healthy.